That is the great Kev Rumens flying. And that was the sound of 4 Rolls-Royce Bristol Olympus 202 engines, 16,500 pounds of static thrust each of them, total of about 65,000. Keeping it slightly less than that, in the interests of keeping the old girl going nicely. So we got to hear the Vulcan howl. I hope we'll get to hear it again. And you get to see as she turns around onto finals and back down the runway again, that wonderful triangular shape, as designed in 1946 by the wonderful Roy Chadwick, who'd also designed the Lancaster Anti-Anson, great Avro aeroplanes. So as Kev brings the Vulcan in along the runway, along the display line, I'm looking to see him accelerate her to about 300 knots, 45 miles an hour. So when he takes the power off, it all goes quiet again. She's in the colours, this aeroplane. She has the Lincoln coat of arms on the fin, plus the Panther's head of number 1 group. That was the Royal Air Force group that controlled all of the Vulcans. And she represents all of the Vulcan squadrons in the 70s. That's number 9, 12, 27, 35, 44, 50, 83, 101, 617, and the Operational Conversion Unit. She also has painted on her nose the spirit of Great Britain, which really encapsulates all that she stands for. Now I think next we're going to see Kev Rumens bring her round towards us on the B axis, which I'm sure we'll talk about many times today, heading straight in towards us, and then as she tiptoes up on us again, we'll hear the power come on as he takes her into a spiral climb. Vulcan first flew in 1952, only 11 years after the first flight of the Lancaster. Look at the two of them together and you think they come from different centuries. Not a bit of it. Designed by the same team. Apart from protecting us from being overcome by nuclear holocaust during the Cold War, Vulcan never went to war until, that is, the 30th of April 1982, when one Vulcan, 607, hit the centre line of the Port Stanley runway in the Falkland Islands with one bomb and the edge of the runway with another, making the runway unusable for Argentine fast jets. And until the Gulf War, that was the longest bombing raid in history, 7,760 miles round trip, which is about the same distance as from here to Bali in one hop. And the whole trip took no less than 18 air-to-air refuelings. That aircraft, 607, is now static at RIAT Waddington. When there's a Waddington air show, you used to be able to see 558 fly overhead, but of course no more, because this is 558's last season. She's going to fly down the runway with her wheels down. All 18 of them, if you're in a mood for counting, or in case you've been on one of the underwing tours this morning and you can count them at first hand. Wheels tilt back, the undercarriage, main undercarriage legs fold forward to the capacious undercarriage bays. Get an idea of the amazing agility of this aeroplane. She doesn't have a big control yoke like most bombers. She has fighter-type control columns for each of the pilots. And of course she is amazingly agile. In the early days at the Farnborough Air Show, their test pilots actually rolled the aeroplane. But that became rather frowned upon, and she wasn't allowed to do it anymore. Perfectly within her capabilities. As she comes in this time, top doors opening, there we go. Top doors opening. And you get an idea of the enormous size of that bomb bay. Bomb bay, of course. And it's back from that bombing raid to the Vulcan Islands. 21 1,000-pound bombs, or 10 tons of bombs. They dropped all 21 of them. They only hit the runway with 2. That was par for the course. These were more or less wartime dumb bombs, no guidance amongst them or anything. So if you wanted to hit a specific target, you went for a lot of overkill so that you'd be sure of getting it. And indeed, they did get it. The pilot at that time, Martin Withers, who is now the chief pilot of the Vulcan to the Sky Trust. He was awarded a DFC, and his crew were mentioned in dispatches. As she comes back in front of us again, expect to see the bomb bay closing. Nowadays it just contains the names of lots and lots and lots of people who have contributed so wonderfully to these grand flying. The biggest problem throughout her life has been money. It may seem obvious, but she's not funded by the government. She doesn't belong to the Royal Air Force. And to get this far has cost more than £22 million. Still costing £2 million a year. But that money has come from everybody. You've given your money in single pounds, in tens of thousands and everything in between. The late Sir Jack Hayward, wonderful. Also the very generous Eddie Forrester of Aerovites. There's been big support from the CAA, as well as the 3 technical authority companies, BAE Systems, Marshall Aerospace and Defence Group, and Rolls-Royce. Many other companies have given fantastic help. Airbus, AD Holdings, Beagle Technology, Cranfield Aerospace, Goodrich, Kearsley Airways, Meggitt, Messier Doughty, and Serco. But it is the 3 technical authority companies that will finally bring Vulcan's industrial flying life. So that once the 3 technical authority companies have cease their support at the end of this flying season. The Civil Aviation Authority regulations mean that Vulcan will be prohibited from flying. So the end of her career is not about funding, it's not about the supply of spare parts, but it is about mandatory 3 million people every year, probably a whole lot more this year, including children and young people who are inspired to learn more about engineering and aviation. As they pull away to our right, they'll be coming back for one more pass from that end of the field, so we get to see her one more time in that wonderful shape. People sometimes say, why isn't he an expert? He's been a supervisor, as a wing commander, he was the supervisor of the Red Arrows. He's the man who's best qualified to fly her with the Red Arrows.
He'll do a formation roll.
Might as well, isn't he? While he's there, he might as well.
Yeah. Split.
No point in messing about. You'll do it, you're going to get a Vulcan, you might as well get a Vulcan.
Right, loud. Loud and proud.
Savour your last moment, if you're not going to any other air shows this year, of seeing this magnificent aeroplane. It's the great Dr. Seuss, the man who wrote The Cat in the Hat and How the Grinch Stole Christmas, said, "Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. Or if you can't manage that, at least smile through the tears." A fighter-like approach, a continuous turn onto finals. If you're looking closely at her, you'll see she's got her air brakes out, those big things that stick up top and bottom of the wing. And Bill's got her lined up with the runway and descending gently on the glide slope. A little bit of rocking in the crosswinds, touchdown first, and there's the braking parachute. So, there she is. I hope you'll be able to see her again sometime this year. But thank you very much. You'll have time.
Sean Bafford, thank you so much for taking us through that. Absolutely magnificent. What a feat of flying we are all enjoying here today in the most magnificent weather. We hope you still have enough energy left for the Red Arrows because they are ready as well. I'm going to hand you over now to squadron leader Mike Ling. Red Arrows. Very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You just heard I am Squadron Leader Mike Ling, and I am Red 10. I'm the supervisor with the Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team, the Red Arrows, and I'll be talking you through this display, which is about